Talking about One Night of Queen, the show that you have created has played to thousands of people all over the world, selling out the same venues as Queen themselves. Record shows that biggest audience you've ever played was in Hyde Park to 50,000 people. And I thought this was a great tidbit. As of 2022, you were confirmed to be one of the biggest selling tribute acts in the world, and in France are officially the most successful tribute band of all time, selling 250,000 tickets. Congratulations on all of your success.
That one was literally, we found that out literally 5 minutes before the show. They brought in one of the French TV channels, and they do that sometimes. They come and they follow you during the day, so you've got to watch. You don't swear. You've got to watch what you say, what you do. So I said, all the guys in the band and crew, no swearing. Just watch what you say. The TV crew are here today. They're going to follow us around. And the rule of thumb is usually they can follow us, all day, come to sound check, watch the show. But when it comes to me being in my dressing room, it's like, nah, that's far enough. You go and do your thing, and I go and put on some cheesy 80s music and warm my voice up and put the gear on, and then you can see me when I leave the dressing room to the stage, and then you can watch the show. And we got called into the green room with our promoter, Richard, literally 5 minutes before the show, and it's like, dude, we got to be on stage in 5 minutes, and you're promoting it, you should know better. There's 5,000 people in the audience, we can't have them hanging around. And we got presented with all these plaques. So you're the big the TV crew were there, and I talk a lot, and I didn't say anything because I was absolutely gobsmacked. And the TV producer guy said to Richard, he isn't saying very much. And Richard says, I've known Gary for 18 years, and that's the second time I've seen him unable to speak. So I've now got this thing on my wall and we all have them. All the guys in the band, our production manager's got one, and it was an official thing, and we were blown away by it, because you do the show and you hope that. People say to me, you're the best Queen tribute band in the world. And I always say, as long as you're the best Queen tribute band in the room, it doesn't matter about an accolade, and it's great. But if people leave the venue happy, job done. So to get that was kind of like, what? It was one of those moments, so that was kind of cool.
Very excited to meet you, honored and thrilled to meet you. And Scotty is probably fanboying out because he was at your show in St. Louis.
Oh, really? That was a cool show and a very cool venue. It's the first time we'd ever played there, so to go and pack it out and have that kind of response was pretty amazing for us.
It's a fairly new venue, and I really like it a lot. It's probably becoming one of my favorite there in the area.
And the fact that it was we're doing the works tour, and it's the factory, and everywhere around about the venue was all cogs. We just thought, yeah, that's a sign.
Oh yeah,
that's got to be something.
It fit for sure.
Absolutely. We're in New Jersey now. We were in Pennsylvania last night, and we're in New Jersey on a day off today, in the sunshine, which is beautiful, because the weather on this tour so far has sucked. Really sucked.
And you're hot on the tour, and we're catching you in between. Well, we got to know Ben a lot via email, who's been helping us out and messaging with us, and sent us a really nice message on Instagram saying that you guys had seen our clip of Scotty just raving about the show.
Scotty, thank you so much for that awesome review, and the check will be in the post.
Oh, nice.
Right, yeah, that's listed on our website at mostlysuperheroes.com. We'll watch for that.
You paid me in pure enjoyment, my friend.
Yep.
Thank you, man. It was a fun night.
We're Queen fans amongst ourselves. Scotty, obviously the biggest one, making your show. We were also lucky enough to send a handful of fans local here from St. Louis to the show that sent us reviews that were raving as well, just saying they were blown away and beyond expectations. And to say the least, would it be safe to say you're living your dream? You're living out your dream.
Yeah. I mean, I always remember when I was a kid. My grandfather said to me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said Freddie Mercury, but I didn't mean in the literal sense. It kind of like, I want to be a singer in a band and do that, and it kind of became this, living as your hero, which is kind of cool, and also have the anonymity, because obviously off stage I look nothing like on stage, so it's nice to have that. It's like Kiss when they used to wear Kiss with the makeup on back in the days when no one knew what they looked like.
Sure.
It's kind of have that now and again if you want to go out for dinner after the show, or you want to just, hang out. You don't have. It's great because people sometimes recognise me as I am, but it's nice to have that little bit of anonymity, just to kind of
Yeah,
step back.
you just want to be a name on a list. You don't want people to actively recognize you on the street.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened in strange places, like in my local, like in the airport in Glasgow, when one of when you go through border control, there's usually two plainclothes detectives standing there, and the guy says to me one day, "Stop," and I thought, "Uh-oh, here comes the glove and the interrogation." And all he wanted was a selfie because him and his wife had seen us 3 months before in Glasgow, so he wanted a selfie, and I was just like, whew, got through and just headed for the door, you know.
That's great.
I want to go to you, Scotty Scoop, and maybe you tie your experience to any questions you have so far for Gary and the show that you saw, I mean, just a couple weeks ago. I can't believe that you're in the middle of your tour again. Thanks again for pausing to talk with us.
Thanks for having me on.
I want to hear about the stars in their eyes. Never heard of this before. I'm in my early 40s, here in America, and I watch a lot of TV, consume a lot of media, and this is something I never heard of. Is this like a show in the UK, Britain?
Yeah, it was. It was for about 20 years. It was a kind of idol forerunner. So the deal was that it would bring people from any walk of life that sounded like somebody else. That maybe someone said, "Hey, you sound like Elvis or Madonna or Michael Jackson," and you go on the show, and then you'd say it, and the host was a guy called Matthew Kelly, and the famous catchphrase was, "Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be," and then you'd walk through these doors with smoke, and then come out as somebody else,
Sure.
and you do it with a band, and there was a load of heats for the show, like there is with X Factor or Idol or
Okay.
there'd be a live final, and then you were declared the winner through a telephone vote, and then the year I did it was the first time they'd used an internet vote as well, so it was phone. That's me showing how old I am. So my wife, my mum thought it'd be fun to enter me on it at the end of the previous year, but not tell me just in case they never contacted me. And I came back from work one day, and my wife's like sort of like, "Oh my God, you got this phone call," and they called me back, and I thought it was one of my friends pranking me, so I was really sarcastic to the guy on the phone and just kind of like, "Yeah, really? Oh yeah, very good," and put the phone down, and she's like, "Oh my God, they picked you," and I was like, "What? That was real?" She's like, "Yeah," and it kind of went from there to, "Let's go for an audition. Okay, if I don't get through, it's something we show the kids when they're older. Oh, can you come for a second audition? Oh, we've picked you for the show. Oh, you've won your heat. Oh, you're in the final in 6 months, but you've got to sign a confidentiality agreement to tell nobody that you're through, so that when it airs on the show 6 months from now, and then at the end of the 10 episodes, there's a completely live final, so you've got to come back down and do it all over again in front of the entire UK and a live studio audience." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that sounds easy."
Oh yeah.
Like, really? I'm like, "How about the first word that sounds like duck and the second word that ends with off?" But I did it. But I went and done it, and had no illusions to win it, and ended up winning the whole thing. Which, if you watch the footage, it is on YouTube. I look like a deer that's been caught in truck headlights.
Well, and I know that was a massive deal in the UK, and that Brian May of Queen actually wrote to you after that show saying, you certainly share with Freddie more than a likeness.
Yeah, that blew me away because I've been waiting to try. I stood when Brian did a solo tour back in 1998. I stood outside the concert hall in Glasgow trying to get his autograph, and the crowd moved, and I face planted the minivan that he was about to get in, so I got no autograph and a sore face. So fast forward to 2000, and he handwrites me a letter, to say that, congratulations on my success, and I just thought, yeah, stuff your autograph. I'm getting this framed.
Yeah.
So it went back, so it kind of paid back for the sore face. So yeah, that blew me away because Brian, is my hero, and Freddie was my hero. These guys are my heroes, and I got to meet him in 2008. I got to go backstage to the Queen concert with Paul Rodgers, and he was just an absolute sweetheart of a man. And told me to keep up the good work, which blew me away. I was like, okay, no problem.
Which you did. Now after you win something like that on that big of a stage, I mean, you said, I like you sharing the real life part of actually going through the audition and having to wait several months to get to even performing, because that allowed you to probably set back and say, okay, I have this much time to prepare a show and actually bring this all the way to an 11. And then after it goes well, it's time to get to work, right? And I think that's whenever you started The Works in 2002.
Yeah, well, the thing with the TV show was it wasn't like an idol thing. There wasn't like a prize. You didn't get like a load of money and a record deal. It was just like, hey, you won, well done. That's it. And then the next series would come along the following year. And there's a handful of us guys that were on the show that actually forged careers out of this thing, you know, and have done very, very well, you know, going around the world and doing it. So kind of was one of those moments of, well, I've got a job. I've got a kid. I've got a kid on the way. I'm suddenly getting offers of work here. What do I do? Because I'd been in bands, you know, through my teenage years and things, and early 20s with friends, and they never amounted to anything, and we enjoyed doing it. And then I got married and did the, you know, day job and all that stuff as well. We'd go to karaoke, we'd go to, you know, jam nights and things, and that was kind of the limit of my, you know, sort of singing thing. And then this whole potential career came along, and it was like, well, do it for a year and see what happens. And we're 24 years down the line.
Wow. Man. I mean, congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's kind of scary. At the beginning, it was like, right, let's see what happens here. And, you know, to play the clubs and play all the sort of small places to kind of get a routine, you know, because you do once, it was one song on a TV show, and it's like, well, that's okay, but can you transfer that into like, you know, an hour show? And then the 2002, you know, put the band together, and it was like, let's do this for real. Let's do a proper rock band and a proper show, and let's have fun doing it, you know, let's have a real, but it wasn't going to be a group of session musicians just playing the dots. It was like, let's have a real kick-ass rock band that's actually going to play these songs for real.
And yeah, you guys have been doing it ever since, and you're playing so many shows now. Like, you're in the middle of your tour, and you're paying tribute to the 40th anniversary of Queen's The Works tour, complete with stage accurate costumes, set list production, and this is a worldwide tour.
It is a worldwide tour, and it's kind of special in America for this tour because this is the tour that Queen never toured. You know, the last tour they did in America was like 1982, the Hot Space Tour, which is the album that everyone disses because they thought it was crap. And you listen to it, and there's some good. Under Pressure was on it. That was the big hit with David Bowie.
For sure.
There's some pretty cool cuts on that album. If you go back and you listen to it now, you kind of go, yeah, it's actually all right. But it wasn't as hard edged as what people were expecting. So they come back with the Works, which had like Hammer to Fall, you know, and Want to Break Free. And Want to Break Free was the big controversial song because they all dressed up in drag, and everyone, you know, Middle America went, they're dressed up as women. But it was actually a sort of parody of a soap opera in the UK. So it, you know, and then it took to 2019 for the movie to come out for people to go, we get it, it was a joke. So they never did that tour. Freddie just went, I'm not going back to America unless we've got a hit. And of course, they never come back. So we're giving the American audiences a glimpse of a tour that Queen never took in America.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's cool.
I have more questions, and I'm hogging them. Hey, Giggler, let's look at you, Mr. Andy.
Yes.
What do you got? What do you got for Gary?
Of course, Gary. First off, congrats on all the success over many years. And I watched one of your performances on YouTube today from 2019. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it with Scott on I guess last month. It was St. Patrick's Day. And I went to the parade. I went to the parade that morning, so I was not able to make in any shape to make it to your performance.
I was going to say I'll miss you day then.
Understandable. Sad to miss it though, especially after watching this performance on YouTube. It was amazing. Honestly, next time that you guys come around anywhere near here, I'm fully in. I did a lot of reflecting on my own, on like my own personal like history with Queen. I remember as a kid, like watching the Bohemian Rhapsody video with my dad on MTV and just being in awe of that. What was the moment, I guess, for you where it was like a light bulb on your head as a elementary school kid that you were like, I want to do this growing up?
Ironically, it was the same kind of thing as you. I mean, I was a kid, and it was a We Are the Champions video for me. Seeing Freddie in that leotard and that music and the lights and the smoke, and I was just like, who the hell are these guys? And I was only like 5 or 6 years old, and it blew me away. I remember saying to my granddad, I want to be that guy. That guy looks like a superhero because he's got this. And it's the first time I come from a musical family. My uncle was an incredible singer. He was my hero. He was a guy that would sit at family parties with a guitar and just hold the room. And I thought, I want to be that guy. And then I saw Freddie and I was like, yeah, I want to be that guy too, because that's kind of cool. And my mother sang as well. Yeah, I come from a family of really good singers. So it kind of was, that was my moment, similar to yours. It was like the video of that song, and I was like, that's awesome. And then it became this love affair of the band and buying the records and buying the, you know, the tapes, and because I'm that old, you know, tapes and records and posters and videos, and becoming a total anorak. To this day, people say you are a complete nerd with Queen, and I'm like, yeah, it kind of pays to be a nerd, because when you're doing this, you want to be able to do it right, you know. So hence this ironically, the works too. He looks like a, you know, a camp superhero with the leotard. So I'm kind of living the kind of being a superhero nerd and being a Freddie nerd. I'm kind of living both lives here. All that's missing is an S and a cape.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
we would love, you know, we try any chance we can get into capes. That makes us happy.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
I wore my Superman shirt today, inspired by the video that I watched today. You opened up wearing the classic Freddie Mercury Superman shirt, so well done.
Okay, let me tell you a story about that. So Queen have re-released the 1981 concert from Montreal, where famously Freddie almost had a fight with the director 5 minutes before the show, because the guy was telling Freddie where to go, and Freddie told him to basically F off and get out his face, and then other words that you probably can't use on a podcast. And then came out as Angry Freddie, and of course on that he was wearing that Superman vest. Now they've re-released it and they've put it into IMAX theatres in you know 4K and, you know, the surround sound. And for the first time, now I've watched that concert about 200 times, I realised that just under Freddie's left nipple, he's got a rip in his shirt. And I was like, I've never noticed that before. So I'm wondering if I ever do that again to make it authentic, I need to rip just under the nipple.
Yeah.
Yes.
That 100% authenticity, because fans do go that, you know.
Oh, you don't have to explain it to us. This is the podcast of fandom. So you like immediately as you talked about that, I thought to myself, where could I buy that shirt?
Yes.
Yeah, where can you need to get a scissor hole in it. And I'm sitting watching it, and he's like 20 feet high in the screen, and I'm thinking, he's got a hole under his nipple, and I've never noticed.
That actually, they just played this in St. Louis, like probably a month before your show, at our local science center on a humongous IMAX screen, and it was amazing. You said
It is amazing.
Queen Rock Montreal. I think it was in the 80s, I believe.
It was 1981, and they'd actually finished. They'd actually just rolled out the tour and done it, and went home. And then they got a deal to do these 2 nights in Montreal, and this guy was like, "Hey, we'll pay you a load of money, fly out, do these 2 shows." And Freddie was really pissed at the director. He was, "Do this, stand here." And Freddie's like, "No, darling, you don't understand. I don't do that. I do my own thing. No, you've got to do this. No, you got to get out of my face before I knock you out." Because people forget, Freddie was a boxing champ at school. As camp as he was, apparently he was a bit of a badass when it came to boxing. So he got in this guy's face and was like literally got to knock him out. So when you watch the show, Freddie's energy is next level. Oh, hello, you still there?
Yep, we're still here.
We got you.
Sorry, my screen just almost fainted. It said my battery was low, but I do have battery. I don't know what happened there. Apologies.
It's okay. Double check your power. It's okay.
Yeah, it's good. It says we're charging, so we're all good. It's just my iPad got dangerously low, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, so the energy of Freddie that night is Angry Freddie, but it makes the energy of the show, it's like exciting energy. You think he's going to kick off at any moment here. So it's very, very exciting.
That's where the questioning lines for me is. You obviously have this deep connection to Freddie, and part of you has to feel, you know, I've always felt this way, that there's many of us that replicate, you know, over time, even living at the same time, that you're just kind of cut from the same cloth. And I feel like my question comes to how much of it is, you mentioned towing the line. You do obviously pull out the costumes and the performance for the show. What about Freddie Mercury makes it into your real life every day that you maybe notice, that you're mindful of, that you're like, you know, the way that Freddie lived, what's a similarity to your everyday life?
I think for me, it's that never give up. You know, Freddie was always, you know, tenacity always wins. You know, and you can turn a no into a yes. I've always been that guy. I've always been a glass half full, never have empty kind of guy. You've always, no matter what life throws at you, you'll learn a lesson. You roll with the punches. You know, I'm a Rocky guy as well. Superhero and Rocky. You know, that's my things. Like, you roll with the punches and you go, okay, right. You've got to give 100%. Whatever you do, you got to give 100%, and if you don't, you're just cheating yourself. Mm-hmm. And that was what Freddie did. Freddie was always like all those guys were all university graduates. I mean, really smart guys. And he was like, let's quit all that and let's do a rock and roll band. And we ain't got a plan B. So it's all got to be plan A. There is no plan B, because you've got to commit to that no matter what, gets thrown at you. You've got to just keep. So that's me, and I suppose everyone that I work with sort of mantra is we just keep in the Bruce Lee thing, keep moving forward. No matter what happens, you've got to commit to that and do it to the best of your abilities, or you're cheating other people, but more importantly, you're cheating yourself. I got all philosophical there, but wow.
I hope you really feel that audience tonight. You put on a show every night for big audiences that bring the energy. So this soundboard is the closest I can get with you in another state.
Hey, we'll go with that. We'll totally go with that.
Sam the Sleeper, what do you got for Gary?
Gary, it's a pleasure to meet you.
You too. Glad you're still awake.
Yeah, he's awake.
We just woke him up.
I'm here. No, I am not as lucky as these three to hear what you got, man. But you must got some pipes on you if you're talking about the #1 tribute band. So one thing I do know, I've heard, you would be the guy to know whether or not this is true. Freddie Mercury was really known for his vocal range. I heard somewhere along the lines that he was able to cover 4 octaves, and the average singer is 2 octaves. That means nothing to me. I just know that's a big range. Do you have any training, any formal training, any coaching that you had to do, or is this all pure natural talent?
Tight underwear.
Great answer.
You were ready. You were ready.
That'll do it.
It's kind of in the superhero thing.
Yeah, at the beginning it was just, go out, open your mouth and see what happens. But then when you get to the stage of the amount of touring we're doing, you've got to go and get some kind of training, because your voice, it's 2 little muscles in your throat literally doing that. And I am my instrument. If a guitar goes out of tune, you retune it. Your voice goes out, and again, you hit a bum note on stage. That bum note lives with you. It stays in there. It's like, as I call it the Scooby Doo's. Right? You go Tarzan, and you're gonna go. I just do that. So the training, I do warm ups and cool downs, and I've got a singing teacher I go and see in London who's an actual opera guy who deals with Covent Garden opera singers and most of the musical guys in the West End, and then I rock up, it's like, hiya, how you doing? And it's a discipline, and I'm not a disciplined guy. I'm literally squirrel. That's my attention. So I've got to really knuckle down and warm up and cool down, But yeah, the tight underwear does actually help.
Oh, that's amazing.
All joking aside, it actually works.
It does work here.
All right, well, I got a few fun things. I hear that you've already kind of mentioned, you're into some superheroes, you're into some pop culture. We're obviously into that. And before we get into that, we have a bit of trivia that is probably very easy for you, but we'll see. It's for our fans. And if you're listening to this, we have it listed in our episode description that you can win a prize if you get this right. So I want to pose the question to you, Gary. If it's too easy, maybe you share another fun fact with us that's even more exciting than this one. Okay, so this one. Did you know, you guys, that Freddie Mercury was a talented artist and graduated with a diploma in art and graphic design? Now, for the trivia question, that was just a fun fact. What was the original name of the band Queen before they became famous? Does anybody know outside of Gary?
I have a guess, but
what's your guess?
Smile.
Gary.
It was Smile.
Smile.
Wow.
I was the movie, and the movie's got a lot of poetic license. It's a great film, and Rami, deserved the Oscar. It was fantastic. But the thing about the band member leaving is true. Tim was Freddie's friend from art school and played bass, and Smile were a 3-piece, like Cream, like Eric Clapton's band Cream. They were a 3-piece power trio, and they got a record deal, and it never went anywhere. And Tim went, "I'm out." And he quit to join a band called Humpy Bong. That's true. Humpy Bong were a band formed by the Beatles. Bee Gees' drummer Colin Peterson, and he went away and left the Bee Gees to form this other band who had one hit. Tim Staffel then famously designed all the models for the TV version of Thomas the Tank Engine in the 1980s, which was voiced by Ringo Starr.
Wow. Very cool.
I'm the guy you want in a bar quiz, by the way, because my head is full of so much crap.
do you use that? Where do you use that knowledge anywhere out in your life? Do you go to trivia nights or anything fun like that?
I do, and sometimes if I've got friends who are illegally under the table with a phone, you know, asking me, and I'm like, put your phone away and answer the question yourself, you lazy sod. You know?
All right, Scotty, what do you got?
I was curious. You know, you sing all of these songs night in, night out. Is there, I mean, I hate to say a favorite, but is there one that just, it gets you every time? Like, he's like, man, I can't wait to get to this part of the show where I get to sing this song.
Somebody to Love.
Oh, my God. That's my favorite.
I love and I hate in equal measures because it's got that somebody to.
Yeah.
And that's the note that everyone wants to hear.
Oh, for sure.
It's the I call it the American Idol applause note. You know, hey, you got it.
What?
Sometimes when I get it, I want the applause. Yeah, I did get it. Woo. You know.
What's the longest you've ever held that note?
I don't know. I did it last week. And so you know, somebody to bang bang, cymbals ring out, guitar rings out, piano rings out, and I actually felt myself going, right, you're just being silly now, stop. Because it did, and then I thought, I'm gonna get a bit lightheaded here. Maybe I do need to stop so I don't fall on my ass. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long I hold it for, but it's got to be you hold it for as long as the band decays, and then the audience want to hear it, and then you stop it, loud, a little love, and then the band kick in. So it's got to be long enough for everything, the wildness of the band to kind of die down, and you hit that note, and it's got to have its own space, and then the band can back in again. So that's one of my all-time favourite Queen songs. It's Freddie doing Aretha Franklin, and she was one of his heroes, and that's Freddie doing his best Aretha.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest songs, I think, ever.
It's definitely one of my favorites for sure. And I didn't want to take away from your moment earlier because it was so sweet, but now that some time has passed, I'll share that We Are the Champions was also my introduction to.
Really?
Yes, but it was, via the Mighty Ducks movie.
Oh, that's an underrated reference. Thank you for that.
You guys are all kids. It's like, seriously, I feel like a granddad sitting here back when I was.
I'm no kid.
All right,
I'm 40.
He's
over 40.
Don't worry, we brought Scotty. Okay, and I want you to know the music has transcended, and I wouldn't take away from the fact that I saw it in that movie because it turns into something more, and it is, for me, it was how I was introduced to an epic moment.
Yeah,
and
well, that's the thing about that. Yeah, and that song, the sports stadiums, you can go to, France, you can go to Germany, you can go to a country where you don't speak the lingo, and you can be at a soccer event or a baseball event, and you hear.
Oh yeah.
Or, they win. We are the champions. We did a show in the UK. So Leicester City, the soccer team, had won the English football soccer league, and we rolled into town the weekend they'd won, and they were coming back with the trophy to do the double-decker bus open top through the city on the Sunday morning. We played the gig on the Saturday night, so I ran down to the local market and bought the biggest Leicester City flag I could find. And when we did We'll Rock You, I come running out with the flag and kept it for We Are the Champions. And there was 2,500 people in the audience, and the ceiling nearly blew out with a cheer. And it was a cool moment. We suddenly all turned into Leicester City fans that night because it was like, this is a cool moment to be in this town. And as we were driving out the next day, the bus was doing the procession through the town. There's like, 200,000, 300,000 people on the streets giving it, here they come. And there's a trophy, and it's like, yeah, and what are they playing on the bus? We Are the Champions.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Wonderful. That's one of those moments that it was honestly my next question. Nate, can you tell us another moment that feels like a full circle moment of being Freddie for you, where it's such a thing, right? I can really appreciate our show is basically a group of fans, that have been reacting to the arts, and you're a fan that became the performer and now have been doing it for 20 years. Is there another moment that was full circle for you, I'm pretty darn close to Freddie right now?
The moment, I think, for me was the Hyde Park show, the 50,000 people, whatever, and it was I mean, the greatest cure for constipation I've ever had in my whole life. It just because it was broad daylight. It was 6:30 in the evening. It was actually nearly 6:25, and it became some weird similarity Queen moment where we were supposed to do a 40-minute set, and then the two bands that were on before us, and it was live on TV. It was live on the BBC, and this audience, and it was getting broadcast online and stuff. And the two bands that were on before us had ran over, so our 40-minute set got literally massacred down to just over 25 minutes. So we were closer to Queen's Live Aid set than we had originally planned to do. So we ended up backstage quickly cutting songs and making them more like a medley, which is what Queen did.
Mm-hmm.
We hit the stage just after the time the Queen hit the stage at Live Aid. I was wearing the same clothes as Freddie was wearing at Live Aid, and the whole show just became, I walked off stage and I was like, you couldn't, and the moment where I thought, oh my God, this is so, was when 50,000 people were reacting to my vocal ad lib, dead up, and I usually say that the other guy does the show and I stay in the wings and kind of watch, because you've got to be, it's Clark Kent Superman, it's the alter ego, and you keep one away from the other. But that night I kind of creeped out myself and went, this is awesome, and creeped back in again. It was that feeling of, this is how Freddie would have felt at Live Aid with all those people. Calm response. And I got off the stage and I said to our tour manager, were we any good? And he went, what? And I went, I don't know what happened out there. For a second.
Checked out.
I checked out. I heard the calm response, and it was like ethereal, and it was great. And then I kind of went back into myself. The other guy and did the show. Was it any good? He went, you guys kicked ass. I was like, that's all I need. That's all I need to know. That'll do for me.
That's beautiful. Man, that's beautiful. That's like that gives anybody working on something that, you're reaching those moments of what your dream can feel like when you're living it. So that's pretty inspirational.
You've got to do it, and we always say to people, every gig we do, is every ticket's got a story. Lad, I have no idea you on the audience, and I have no idea you guys do a podcast. So that's, but I know that every ticket's got a story. It's a couple on a date night. They got one night away from their kids a month. They get a restaurant. They go get, have a drink. They buy, merchandise from the merchandise store. They come to the gig. If we suck, their night's ruined. They go home. They go, well, that was crap. I'm not going to see them again. The whole night's been ruined. Wedding anniversaries, with friends reuniting, people that grew up listening to Queen, people that are bringing their kids and grandkids to the show. So it's got to be special. It's got to be, that ticket means something to somebody. It's Willy Wonka and the golden ticket. It is the golden ticket as far as we're concerned. We're going to give you everything we can. If you leave that show and you don't like it, I'm sorry, we don't have anything else to give you. We've given you we've opened up our bells and whistles, with Wizard of Oz behind. We've given you everything we've got, and that's it. So yeah.
I can attest that I had the golden ticket. It was totally a great show. I brought my best friend and my kids, 14 and 16. And I can tell you, there were two girls in front of me, and they couldn't have been older than 20. And they knew every song, and they belted it out with you the entire time. And everybody in my section, at least, had the time of their life. And I even saw a guy in a electric wheelchair in my section, and he made that thing move the whole time. He was spinning around, going up and down the aisle, having a great time. You were calling everybody out into the front row, like, bring it in, crowd in, everybody get up off your ass. This isn't that kind of show. It's just a phenomenal time.
Thanks, man. Like I say, it's fun for us to do. When you look out in the audience and you see, all sorts of, every age and every kind of humanity, and you just go, you know what? Let's have a laugh. Let's all go into the room, regardless of if your day sucked, forget that. Shut the door. Let's rock out.
Yeah.
It's like going to see your. It's like like you guys are like me, you know, we like superhero movies, and we like you know we like kind of geeking out and stuff like that. You go and see a good movie, like you immerse yourself in it. You just go, I'm invested, I'm in. You come out and you feel amazing because you feel like maybe you know Captain America on the screen because you've invested so much into that movie. You come out and you go, man, I feel like Captain America. I feel like I go and you know punch a baddie and you know save somebody.
Sure.
And that's the way it's got to be. You've got to make people feel great.
Well, we could talk about some nerdy stuff. Do you want to take? We're at 5:40. We're going about half an hour. Do you have a little bit more time, Gary? Do you want to take a break?
I do, yeah.
Do you want to take a break or anything? Do you need?
No, I'm good, man. I'm committed.
I'm good. Good.
Any other questions on One Night of Queen? Queen-related items. The Epic Show is on tour. Get your tickets right now. Why don't you go and plug where to get tickets, Gary?
www.garymullenandtheworks.com.
That's the place. You can get them.
Shameless plug.
And what?
Shameless plug.
No, that's hey. If I ask for it, you give it. Hey, come on, you know, Fred. You got it. That's your Freddie, right? You just out with it.
You got to say it. Yeah, and the thing as well is that you know people say it's you know it's all I'm always the guy that gets interviewed because I'm the voice box of the band, right? But you come and see this band, it's a kick-ass rock band. You take me out of the equation, you've got world-class players. I mean, Davie, our guitarist, is just next level good.
Yeah.
I
it
mean,
was his birthday on the night.
It was his birthday. Yeah, it did have a couple of drinks on the bus afterwards. It is, yeah, and he's got red hair. He's got curly hair and it's red. It was a good night to be a red-haired guy. It's Paddy's Day. But I stand in the wings, or I stand on stage sometimes and listen to him play, and I just go, man, he's in my band. And the same with John the drummer and I have known each other since teenagers. We've got Malcolm Gentles on piano, and we got Alan McGee on bass. Alan's the new boy, he's the newbie, he's the young guy. He's brought the average age of the band down to I think 41.3 because we're all older guys now. He's 34. And it's a kick-ass band. I mean, you take me out of the equation, you're seeing an awesome rock band.
Yeah, everybody was on for sure.
Yeah, they are on, and they're always on, and they're such good musicians. You know, and the sound checks. I leave sound checks. I go on and do a bit of, through a bit of screaming through the mic. And go, I'm done. These guys jam for like 40 minutes, and I sit in the audience sometimes with a coffee and just listen to them jam and just go, man, I'd pay to see those guys.
And you guys are playing a lot. You're playing. I mean, so many nights in a row, bringing the energy over and over. And what's your secret? How do you do this show every night? What's your prep look like? A couple hours before the show.
Everybody's got their own thing. I tell you, I'm going to every time I say this, people laugh. So you got Davie sits in his room with his guitar and does all noodles away, does scales and things. John's battering on either the sofa or drum or the wall. Alan's probably just sitting noodling on his bass. He likes a little IPA before the show. One IPA just gets him going. That's him. Plays some noodles. And Malcolm, our keyboard player, goes for a nap. He goes for a nap. I'm doing he's sleeping. Like 10 minutes before the show, he goes, oh, and goes on and just blasts out all those songs. Like he's just, I couldn't do that. I'd be all over the place, like foggy. I wouldn't be able to do it. Malcolm goes for a nap, wakes up, puts his clothes on for the show and just walks on stage and then just comes alive. Mental.
That's amazing for so much energy on that stage.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like Freddie Mercury. Do you feel like you have some kind of communication with him in the ether?
That's a bit creepy. I had a woman one night tell me that she saw Freddie's aura beside me, which I thought, security. I was a bit I guess, how long have you been at this island for? Like, can't you? Sometimes you kind of chat. You kind of feel what it kind of feels like how it must have felt for him to see people rocking out and having a good time. That was Freddie's thing. It was never just about, look at me, darling, I'm fabulous.
Yeah.
It was about, you're part of the show. This is your show. This is our show. We're here to have a rock and roll party. It's the church of rock and roll. Let's rock. And that is it. So that's where it kind of, for me, I'm not one of these, I channel him and, get all kind of, theatrical or method actor, sort of Daniel Day-Lewis, I'm going to live in the trees for, 6 months to be, last of the Mohicans, I'm not going to wash her. No. Great credit to where credit's due for these guys. Brilliant method acting and all that, great. But it is a role, but it's a role that I can switch on and switch off and not think too much about doing, because you go mental. You just go completely bonkers.
Part of me kind of hoped, actually, that you were kind of going to be like the Ben Franklin impersonator from The Office, where he doesn't ever turn it off, and he's always been. I thought maybe you'd be always Freddie. I didn't know if we get Freddie or Gary.
No, I'm not Christian Bale and Batman.
We'll be right back. Hey squad, Logan here from Mostly Superheroes, wanting to talk to you today about some real life heroes. Team Jakey, headquartered here in St. Louis, Missouri. They're turning the tragedy of losing their beloved Jake Zeller into life-changing action. Not just by making a difference, but by saving lives. Team Jakey supports both the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Provident Behavioral Health here in St. Louis. Join us at their annual Gentleman Jake Memorial Cornhole Tournament. It's more than just a game. It's a community coming together to lift each other up with some of the world's best prizes. If you're feeling down or know someone who is, Team Jakey's here with a message of hope. Reach out by calling 988. You can also visit www.afsp.org or text TALK to 741-741. You're not alone, and there's always a way forward. Someone's waiting for your call or text message. Search for Team Jakey on Facebook and learn more at www.mostlysuperheroes.com/give. Every bit helps, and together, we can make a difference. All right, back to the show.
Oh, I need to tell you guys a story, and everyone's going to, right, this is my actual Christian Bale story, right? Because we're all geeks. We were on holiday in the Canary Islands a few years back. It was New Year. We went to spend New Year out of the country because we had some time off. And on the plane there, I'm sitting next to Ben, because Ben is my son too. He's our lighting designer. He's also my son. And I keep that quiet a lot of time, but I'm so proud of him because he's a kick-ass lighting designer and engineer. So on the plane, and we're reading the In-Flight magazine, and it says in the magazine that Ridley Scott and Christian Bale will be on Fuerteventura filming Gods and Kings. The Moses Exodus movie, Gods and Kings. I turn to Ben and jokingly say, "Hey, we will bump into him in a bar." Fast forward a week, we get to the hotel. We're staying in the Sheraton Hotel. There's 2 hotels and there's a whole load of film trucks outside. Like, the entire crew are staying over these 2 hotels. Ben and I are playing pool in the pool hall in the hotel, and we run out of change. So I go to get some change, some euros changed into, like, quarters, like basically Euro style quarter for the thing machine. And I hear 2 voices behind me in the line behind me at the reception, at the lobby. I hear an American guy say, "Thank you very much for checking us in." And I hear a British guy say, "Thank you very much." And I turn round, and right behind me is Christian Bale. So Batman standing, not even a foot behind me. So I smile at him, he smiles at me, I turn round. Then I have the most embarrassing fangirl moment ever, where I just go, "Ah!" and then run across to my family who are sitting having cocktails and go, "Batman's girl! Batman's!" My wife goes, "What?" I go to run back over and talk to him. He goes, "No, don't be that guy. You might see him later." Never saw him again the whole vacation.
Oh, no.
Pissed. I was so pissed. And Ben went, "That was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen," because I just went, like, completely. I'm like, "Batman! It's Batman!" Everyone just went.
You should have been sliding him tickets to your show, is what you should have been doing.
Yeah. And then I never saw him again. And I was absolutely gutted, because I've smiled at Batman. That's all, and he smiled back. I'm taking that to the grave.
Yeah. You win. You
win for sure. No, I've never met Batman. I still haven't met a Batman. And also what I love about that story is that it proves once again that you are ultimately a true fan. Like, which still blows my mind that you're able to. It'd be like, okay, say I'm the biggest Superman fan in the world, and then I finally played Superman, and I was in that big moment where he's like saving the world. I don't know if I could get through the scene. I think I'd be just like emotional. I'm just like, wow, I'm living this. So kudos on you for like keeping it together. And Scott has no idea you're a massive fan. He just knows he saw One Night of Queen.
Yeah.
Well, my first movie was Superman the movie. I was 5 years old, and I was sitting in the cinema, and I believed the tagline. I left that cinema believing a man could fly, because I was in my Superman costume.
Just like the poster. Just like the poster.
Just like the poster. My aunt lived in a 5-story apartment block, and I did believe a man could fly. I believed a 5-year-old could fly, because my older cousin told me that in that Superman costume I was Superman. So I attempted to fly out the window 5 stories up, and my mother grabbed me by the cape before I went out the window, and my older cousin got her ass kicked big time.
Oh, yeah.
True story.
Those capes will get you every time.
Well, and it's funny because like Superman, the lesson is he can inspire you to do anything.
Yes.
Yeah, but it may not end well. Gravity might get in the way.
Superman is my favorite as well. He's mostly what's around this studio here. He was my first big superhero as a kid. The Christopher Reeves movies. I rewatch them all the time. I just watched Superman 2, the Donner cut this week, because I just have such nostalgia for seeing Christopher Reeves in that role. And I mean, really just groundbreaking stuff. I mean, that movie and those series of movies are like absolutely a huge percentage of why we even sit here today with all the stuff we get to talk about. So yeah, good choice. You got good taste.
Yeah. If it wasn't for that movie, I don't think you wouldn't have Avengers, you wouldn't have the Marvel Cinematic Universe the way it is. I mean, I've read his autobiography as well, and just the way he actually like went, right, I believe this character. This character's real, and he because he was a Juilliard. Robin Williams and him actually went to Juilliard together. They were best friends, and he was like, I am committing to this role. This character's real for me, and this I'm going to. And again, like a bit of a method actor, stayed quite in character when he was doing the pieces. But the first scene that they flew, the first flying scene with Donner is the one in the Fortress of Solitude, where he flies by the camera, and Donner said, "Do something flying style." And of course, he opens his hands and does that by the camera. And Donner was like, cut, that's it. Do I do it again? That'll be it. That's the cut. That's the scene. Because you believed a man could fly. He just did that as he went by the camera. And it's like, you're not recreating that.
He lived it too. He took it all the way to the end and had a reprising role as on the show Smallville with Tom Welling, who played a young Superman, and he played a mentor to him in a couple seasons. And it was, I mean, full circle seeing him just 30 years later, just still so dedicated to this role. And
even after his tragic accident, the mindset of the man was superhuman. I mean, he was a Superman. To survive that, directed movies after it, produced movies, even though he was like full on quadriplegic or paraplegic. Amazing, incredible, and one of my heroes. The superhero is my favorite superhero, but the guy is also one of my heroes.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. I have another question. Let's go around. Giggler, you got something?
Yeah,
locked and loaded.
Are we gonna do a what you watching separately? That was kind of gonna be my question.
Go ahead and ask it. Let's just do it with Gary.
Yeah, I love. Our podcast is the weekly pursuit for the world's best stories, and I think the story of Gary Mullen is definitely one of those. I just want to hear about how you entertain yourself when you're on tour. What are you watching? Any movies or anything, or tell us about a movie maybe that you're looking forward to that's coming out in theaters.
I'm watching currently Invincible on. We're watching that.
We're gonna get along just great. Yeah.
It's so good.
Me and a couple of the production guys are watching it, and our drummer John as well. We're all. It's one of those ones. I thought the whole season was on, so you could just sit and doom scroll it and watch it, and then it gets. I got last week. I was behind the other guys, and I sat down and I went, "That's it. I've got to wait a week for the next episode."
Yep.
I thought it was all down. Saying about Superman before the first day I arrived in America, I actually bought the Superman special edition online to sit and watch in my room, ordered some Thai food, and literally sat and watched Superman the movie again, because it's one of my all-time favourite movies. I'm a Star Wars nerd, I'm a Superman nerd, I'm a Batman guy, I'm the guy that cried when Tony Stark died. I'll admit that I wet my eyes out. I got a hanky passed to me in the cinema because I was invested in the character and he died, and I'm like, Tony Stark died. I am a nerd. I am and I'm proud to say it. I'm a full-on nerd. my 50th birthday was in November. I had a family party thrown for me in December. My friend from New Jersey came with a Darth Vader lightsaber through TSA to give to me. And somebody asked, "Was that for a kid?" He says, "No, it's my best friend's 50th." And the guy just laughed at him. But I've got the lightsaber and I use the lightsaber, and I was banned from using lightsabers in the house for 10 years because I took a really nice decorative light fitting out in our living room while fighting Ben. He got to keep the lightsaber. He basically threw me under the bus to his mom, and she took the lightsaber off me, and I wasn't allowed to use it for a decade.
Oh, that's too long. That's too long.
That's a long time.
But I've now got two. I've got the Kylo Ren and the Darth Vader. We've got our new house, an old house with big ceilings, so I can party with the lightsabers.
We might have a new trilogy by the time you get to use it again.
You're still there. I heard the noise.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah. For some reason, my iPad's deciding to die on me. I don't know why. I hate technology. It sucks.
You're still here. It's okay. We can do a wrap up. How's the power looking?
5%, I think. Yeah, that sucks. Why is that not charging? It's not. It's just died on me. I don't know what's going on. I do apologize, gents.
Sometimes
okay.
sometimes those cables go bad. You know, is it plugged into the wall, and maybe does it need to be unplugged and plugged back in? That's what I do.
Tech support.
Tech support 101.
Let's try that. There we go. It is showing that it's charging, but it's just. Yeah, technology's crap these days. It really is.
And those I can picture your iPad. Those Apple cables go bad so often.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can do a wrap up. We've plugged your show. Gary, we're so appreciative to have you on the podcast and nerd out with us. You're in a safe place here. I was gonna say, you don't have, we're the nerds that also nerd out like that, and we live this stuff big. So we'd love to have you back on. You're a busy guy, but maybe, look how easy it is to zoom you in. It's so easy.
Anytime, and let's nerd out. Let's get the black belt nerd belts on and go for it, because I've not really had a chance to. I've kept it kind of. Ben's like, I've told the guys about the show, and I've kind of talked about the show, but I am like full on nerd. Like we went to Jane Silent, but anytime I go to Jane Silent Bob's in Red Bank, I've got to be restrained. It's like, no, I gotta leave.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm out here. I'm gone.
Nice.
That's an epic franchise. Well, all right, this is what I was going to ask you. We rate movies on a 4.0 scale. What would you rate the movie Superman the movie on a 4.0 scale? And you could have it. You could have 2 decimal points. So 0.00 would be it's horrible. 4.00 would be it's perfect.
For me, it's 4.00.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yep.
You've got Richard Donner, such an incredible director. You've got, Terence Stamp. You've got Marlon. Okay, Brando was reading his lines off a diaper, but he's still Marlon Brando. You know what I mean? You got it. You've got Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor, the best Lex Luthor there was, in my humble opinion, and the best Superman of all time, Christopher Reeve. You're not faulting that.
All time. And then I'll plug we have a big Star Wars timeline episode coming up. There's so much happening in Star Wars nowadays. We're going to have a big episode for May the 4th. What are you into Star Wars nowadays? Are you watching the current stuff like the TV shows? Are you going back and just watching the movies? What are you into in Star Wars? I'm
looking forward to the Acolyte to see what they do with that. I loved Andor. I thought Andor was so good. I thought it was
so good.
Next level. You've got the cast that was incredible. You got Serkis in it. You got Stellan Skarsgård. You've got the guy playing Andor. I can't remember what's his name. Oh God, amazing! I'm looking forward to season 2. I'm looking forward to the Acolyte. I go back and watch A New Hope and Jedi and Empire, depending on what mood I'm in. Do I like the other 3? I like them. I think that poor Hayden Christensen doesn't get enough credit. I think now he's finally, and after the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, he's now getting the credit that he's rightfully due.
Have you seen Ahsoka?
Ahsoka was amazing as well. Look forward to this. What I loved about that as well, as I'm a big martial arts fan, the fact you've got Bruce Lee's goddaughter in it as a baddie. Diana Leon Santo. It's like, that for me just floated my boat. I'm like, oh my God, you've got martial arts and comic book. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And I think Ahsoka character, I think what Rosario Dawson did with Ahsoka was amazing.
It's like she was born to do that.
Yeah, absolutely was, and you think you watch, she's obviously, is a bit of a fan as well. She's friends with Kevin Smith, so it's her whole geek out thing, and I feel she understood the character and just brought it to life and was great. So yeah, I'm looking like the Acolytes are one for me. I'm looking forward to that to see how that if it's going to be as dark as Andor, are they going to make it something? Because it's getting more adult. I was always concerned when Disney bought the franchise. It's like, is it going to be a bit tame? And then they brought out Andor, you know, and the Mandalorian, and it was like, no, this is, and Mandalorian was what I mean, amazing, and I just thought this is next level, and if they can keep that, sustain that kind of quality, then they're on a winner.
Oh, for sure.
All right, Sam and Scotty, get your final comments or questions ready. Gary, do you have any questions for us?
I want to, yeah, individually. I know you're a Superman guy, but you're a three guys. Who's your ultimate comic book hero and why?
Whoever's first, go.
Oh man, that's really tough.
It's got to be Batman for me. That's just day one. I mean, I was watching Batman '89 every single day when I was growing up. It was just there from the start. I probably said I wanted to be Batman when I grew up. I just didn't follow through like Gary did with with being his hero.
No, you're kind of Batman because
I'm rich and handsome.
Right, you're rich and handsome.
You nailed that part.
Yeah. Got it. Thanks.
No, you do. You're in compliance at a finance company, and that's kind of like a detective.
Yeah, got it. Thank
Okay. What do you got, Scotty?
I would probably have to say Captain America.
Wow, I'm shocked. I had no idea that's what you were going to say.
One of my favorite MCU movies is Captain America: Winter Soldier, and it's just so good, and it's so hard to just walk out of a movie with him in it and not say, "Man, that guy is Captain America."
Yeah, he was born for it.
Just born for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sammy?
Mine is Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I'm small and nimble.
Which version would you go with in the current, Maguire?
I couldn't stand Tobey Maguire, to be honest. I don't know what it is about him. I love Tom Holland.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think the kind of teenage geekness is which is what Peter Parker's meant to be.
Yeah, I think they nailed that, and I just like Tom Holland in general. I want to go have a beer with him, though I don't think he drinks. But he could watch me have a beer.
He could have an NA beer.
Yeah, if you ever run into him over there.
You never know. Like stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Listen, any guy that turns up to an audition and does a backflip in the audition, they're just like, yeah, you're in. That's you. You've got
You're due.
Sign him up.
You've met Batman. You should meet Spider-Man.
I
ain't trying to do a backflip though. I would put myself in hospital. I'm a 50-year-old middle-aged man. It's not happening.
I've just watched rewatched the Tom Holland trilogy, and I mean, I was just saying again how No Way Home, the latest movie, they hit every note so perfectly. I mean, the movie's epic as it is, but where they've set this Tom Holland Spider-Man to go next is what I'm most pumped about. I think we're going to get some of the best Spider-Man on screen that we've ever gotten.
Well said.
I think.
Yeah,
so.
Because now you've got, and the thing is, well, somebody on a fandom chat page recently did say the thing about, they used the thing with the multiverse. In his reality, nobody knows who he is, but in the other multiverses, do they know who Spider-Man is? Do they still know who Spider-Man is?
That's
Because
really good. You do fit in well with us.
Yes, he is one of us.
Dude, I am black belt nerd. Like seriously, like people go, "What do you do?" And I sometimes broach on it, but I feel comfortable talking to you guys because you are my brethren. I can speak without people going.
Preach.
And if somebody says, if someone tries to, like even at high school, geek, I just smile and go, "Yeah." And your point is what?
Those days are over. Now the plan is to be rich being a nerd.
Yeah, absolutely. All
right, final thoughts, questions for Gary before we wrap up.
I've got a quick one. I did read that you are a Doctor Who fan.
Yes.
Your favorite Doctor?
See, this is where it gets a bit difficult because
I know where you're torn.
For me, growing up, it was Tom Baker because he was my first real introduction. He took over just after Pertwee. That's when I was first aware of the Doctor Who sort of universe. And he used to scare the crap out of me because his opening scene was just a picture of him staring at you like that down the camera, and it's like, who's this guy? But I loved it. I fell in love with the character. Jelly Baby, would you like a jelly baby? It's mental, eccentric, genius, bonkers, crazy. Tennant for me also David Tennant for me was just, and he's from Paisley, which is a suburb of Glasgow, so he's my guy.
Yeah, that's where I land. David Tennant, definitely.
Interesting fact about David Tennant. So David Tennant, I don't know if you guys know, this is a little bit of trivia for you guys. David Tennant's real name is David McDonald, right? He's from Paisley, just outside Glasgow. In Equity, the Actors Guild in the UK, there already was a David McDonald registered with Equity. So he needed another name, so he picked up Smash Hits magazine, and on the front was the Pet Shop Boys with Neil Tennant. So he chose the name Tennant.
Wow.
As like Michael Keaton, whose actual real name is Michael Douglas. There already was a Michael Douglas. One of his favourite comics was Buster Keaton. He became Michael Keaton.
Wow.
Wow. Look at this. Got the knowledge too.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Do you have a favorite companion?
I've got a soft spot for Rose, for Billy Piper.
Yeah, as we all should.
But again, to praise the fellow Scot, I've got to say Karen Gillan, Amy Pond.
Oh yeah, Amelia Pond for sure.
She's I actually, my friend met her at Comic Con in New York recently, and I said to him, tell her, because she's from Inverness, Fit Like is sort of mid Scotland for hello. So basically it's how are you, fit like, how like, what like, how are you? So he did, and she burst out laughing, and she went, how do you know that? And he told her that my friend's from Glasgow, and he just says I have to tell you fit like, because I've got friends from where she lives. So yeah, so nice. She's very Scottish. She's very, very, very Scottish, and I love that. I love the fact that she seems a bit nerdy and is Scottish. So it's either Rose or Amelia Pond.
Yeah, nice. All right.
Did you get your Doctor Who fix?
Yeah, I did.
Sammy?
Oh, and another thing, just final thing, we're in New Jersey right now. My friend's got a boat here, and his boat is called the TARDIS because it's bigger on the inside.
Nice.
Beautiful. You got anything?
Yeah. So, did you enjoy St. Louis? I don't remember where the show was at.
It was at the factory.
The factory, so kind of St. Louis. But did you get to do anything?
We went to St. Louis before. We had a day off there, and we just kind of like went to the mall because we're British guys, and America was the moon to us growing up. And what do American kids do? They go to the mall. So we're basically British men children. So we go to the mall too. We just kind of hung out. We did one. I have been to the stadium in St. Louis, the baseball stadium.
Bush Stadium.
Yeah, Bush Stadium. My brain just went. I had a senior moment there. We did the Gateway Arch on a previous tour, and St. Louis is a great rock and roll town. Guys down there just love your rock and roll. It just and that venue was brand new to us because we usually played the casino. And Jeff, was it the River City Casino?
Yeah. Wow, cool.
We usually played there, so those two shows in the factory were brand new venues for us, and it was a great night. And you guys down there like your rock and roll, and we've got a soft spot for that for you guys down in Missouri.
Yeah, so thanks for making it.
Safe to say you'll be back, and I can see you guys in the band.
And we'll get you guys on the guest list, and but on condition. That's because when I take my glasses off, I don't wear contacts, and the only way I'll be able to notice you is if you all wear your favorite superhero T-shirt.
We could all do that. We could all bring.
And then we'll do a before show kind of photograph. I'll dress up as me as my rock and roll superhero, and you guys wear your suit. But that's the only stipulation that you get passes if you wear your. You've told me who your suit, so I want to see if you'll turn up. That's a challenge. Wearing the T-shirts of your favorite superhero.
Absolutely.
Done. Deal. 100% deal.
Virtual
handshake.
Virtual handshake. Done.
That's beautiful. Can't wait till you come back. Well, maybe we'll see you in other cities. Gary Mullen, Freddie Mercury, unapologetic nerd. Thank you for coming and spending time with Mostly Superheroes today. We really appreciate you, man.
Thank you for letting me geek out and be comfortable with it.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come back again, and good luck on the rest of your tour.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See you next time. Bye, Gary.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
Mostly Superheroes is proud to be funded in part by our sponsors. Mostly Superheroes is funded in part by paying patrons who receive early, ad-free, and exclusive episodes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com/support. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcast. Mostly Superheroes is an independent podcast owned and operated by Kerrigan Ventures in St. Louis, Missouri. Hosted by Logan Janis, Andy Hunn, and Scott Swearingen. Brand and creative by Carrie Clark Design. Music by Audionautics. Learn more at audionautics.com. Find more at mostlysuperheroes.com.